Hello everybody and welcome to an alternate dimension where I am king. I'm King Noosme. Hi, I'm King Noosme. So usually I like to plan my videos out. I like to just choose a movie for a month or something like that, and I kind of want to start posting more. Me, scheduling stuff out will help me out. But scheduling stuff out only works when you remember months. They say to never forget, but I forgot September. I forgot completely about September. I don't know why. I have like 3 videos planned for October, no videos planned for September. It's a few days before it's over, so I'm gonna try to bust this one out real quick for you. But I did decide to look really hard for you guys to find a great movie to react to and talk about, and so I used an online spinner and I set the rating to super low, and then I spun it and I got a movie I did not want to watch. Then I spun it again, then I got another movie that looked very boring. So I spun it again, and I also got another movie that looked pretty boring, but then I spun it again and I got Twitches, and that's a Disney movie. And that's kind of my thing on this channel. If you don't know what Twitches is a 2005 Disney DCOM movie starring Tia and Tamera Mowry. You might know them from a classic sitcom Sister Sister. I enjoyed it. I still remember the theme song. Sister, Sister. And the premise to Sister Sister and this movie are kind of similar. It's kind of weird. Like Sister Sister was like, they were separated at birth and then they rejoined, and then that's the whole show. This movie, kind of the same. They're separated at birth and then they find each other, but in this one they have mystical powers and they have to save a whole dimension. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, let's get into it. The movie starts off with a wide shot of this really cool castle in a mythical, mysterious land called Coventry. We learn that there's a darkness spreading faster than the Black Plague in Europe and that just wants to kill everybody. For no reason. But as it's showing the darkness spreading through Coventry, it gives us a little backstory to the movie. So the twin daughters of the sun and the moon were born on Halloween night. They're also prophesized to be the only ones that can defeat this darkness, and they have to do it while they're infant babies, because why not? And I don't know about you guys, I feel like that's a lot of pressure to be putting on literal infant childs. Like, these guys were just born, just straight out the oven. They had no chance. Out of the oven, save the world, please. Please. But if you really think about it, the darkness is smart, because just kill them while they're babies. Kill them while they can't fight back. Easy enough, These two Renaissance cosplayers save the girls. This is Ileana and Karsh, and they're the guardians of their assigned child. They each take one and they bring them to the Earth dimension. And they decide that separating them is best so the darkness has much larger ground to try to find them. It also seems like they didn't really like the original script to this movie, because there's tons of dubs and voiceovers in this movie, and most of them aren't very good. Like, you can tell it's a voiceover. And I'm going to be pointing out every single one. Probably not every single one, but there's a lot of bad ones, and I'm going to point out the really bad ones. Like this one.
It's okay, little one. We're going to be safe. I don't think we were followed.
Right at the beginning, there's a really bad one. His mouth isn't even moving. There's a clear shot of his mouth. Like, at least get a scene where his back is turned, or his head is down, or where you can't see his mouth. His mouth is not moving and he's talking. That's a sure sign that maybe he didn't actually say that. That, or he's just speaking to us telepathically, and that'd be really cool. But after that scene, we get a huge time skip 21 years later, and we get to meet one of the girls. The first twin we see is Cameron, also known as Cam or Cammy, and she pulled a really lucky card. She got adopted by 2 very wealthy people. Also another bad voiceover.
As long as the sun's up, she's up. Happy birthday, Cameron.
Thanks, Mom.
We see that her parents are loving. They bring her a cake and they want to spend some time with her. They even go play tennis right after. Then we get to meet the moon daughter with a literal jump scare.
Surprise!
I'm not gonna lie, the first watch through, it got me. It's not my proudest moment. I was a little invested in the story. What can I say? Twitches is a little investing, and the jump scare made me jump a little bit. Sue me. And we learned that this one's name is Alex, and unlike her sister, she is a little down on her luck. Her mother died a few months prior to her birthday, and she's been jobless and kind of homeless. She's been living with her best friend Lucinda for a few months. So for her birthday, she gets to go job hunting. Yay! Everybody loves job hunting. And I know what you Gen Zers are thinking. I am also a Gen Z, so I have no room to talk, but you had to actually go outside and talk to people to get a job back then. I like the way it is now, where I don't have to talk to anybody. Sit on my couch and type a few things in my phone. Like, oh, I want to work from home. Jobs. Tons of jobs just show up. So Cameron goes out to go shopping for her birthday, and Alex is out job hunting for her birthday. And so we get a scene where they're very close to each other, where they could literally like turn and see each other. A few times they're literally in each other's line of vision, and they just never see each other. And that happens for about 10 to 15 minutes until they finally meet inside of a clothes store. We also get to see that Ileana and Karsh have been in the background of the girls' lives, but they haven't been meddling. They haven't introduced themselves or even talked to them. But the first thing we see Karsh do whenever Alex is on the bus is talk to her, and he's weird.
It's extraordinary. You definitely are someone who has the powers to...
Hi, Mom.
Also, Ileana goes out and talks to Cameron. Also, they meddle because they changed the signs on the clothing store to make Alex go inside so that she can meet Cameron. Is that not meddling? Am I going crazy? They're changing things to let things happen. That's a little bit of meddling. It's a little bit of meddling. Am I going insane? And after the twins meet, Alex is understandably freaked out that somebody that looks just like her is now in front of her and wants to talk to her and be her friend. And she gets a little nervous and runs away. And Cameron chases her, and this is when we find out that they have magic powers. You can tell because of the flashing light, and the green screen is very slowed down in the background. Isn't it cool? And after they use this magic, their mother back home in Coventry gets a sign that they're alive through her necklace. And this is a really big thing for her, and it's so important that she goes and tells her husband Thanos. Thantos. Sorry. It just sounds like Thanos. It's one letter away from Thanos. But Thanos literally gaslights her into thinking that they're still dead.
Paula and Artemis. They're alive.
Miranda, no.
He literally tells her they're dead, get over it, walks away. True alpha male shit, if you ask me. He is the alpha of all alphas. I've been taking a few classes if you want to hear about my alpha. But back on Earth, the girls decide they want to start catching up. Well, Cameron wants to catch up and Alex wants to get away from her as fast as she can. That is until she sees Cameron's car and acts like one of those girls in 2016 with the gold digger videos.
This is your car? Your car?
They catch up a little bit in the car, talk about Alex's dead mom, they use magic a few more times in the car, and then they head over to Cameron's mansion, where Alex asks a bunch of reasonable questions.
This is your house? This is the inside of your house? This is your... I mean, cute.
Also, they must have hired a guy fresh out of college to do the audio in this movie, because not only do the dubs not match up and look and sound bad, but he seems to think mansions sound like a cave.
Mom! Dad!
No, Cam.
Like, it's not that big of a house. It's a big house. Don't get me wrong. I would love to live in a house that... Actually, no, that's way too much room. I do not want a house that big. But I don't think it's going to sound like that. They also learned that they could have done magic this whole time. They just never found out. I guess they never tried, which is unbelievable to me because people try to do magic all the time. Don't you lie to me. I know you try to do magic all the time. I know you're sitting on the couch and there's a remote in front of you. You try to use the force to bring the remote to your hand. Don't tell me you don't do that. So, you know, a proper way to catch up with a long lost sister is to show them a few photo albums of your childhood. And Cameron has a bunch of pictures of her as a baby, so they just need to go find some of the photo albums. But her house is just so big, they can't seem to find the photo albums. Cameron asks Alec to check out her other closet. She has 2 in her room, and she finds out that the other closet is way bigger than she expected. Obviously, this is Coventry, and this is also where they get to properly meet Ileana and Karsh. This is also where they learn that their mom is still alive, but their dad died on the night that they were born. All the information here is kind of redundant, but it's also redundant to Alex because she used to write stories that sounded exactly like the stories they were telling her. So this means that she knows the ending to the story, and it scares her. So, freaked out, she leaves, and Cameron follows. This is when we see drawings on Cameron's wall. We actually saw it earlier in the movie, but this is when they first pointed out. And we find out that these are also drawings of Coventry. Alex also knows how their dad died, and he didn't just die, he was murdered. He was murdered on the night they were born. The darkness was starting to spread, and he wanted to make sure his daughters were safe, so he gave his daughters all of the power he had left in hopes that they would use it to protect themselves against the darkness, which they did. And the father's power actually worked, and it burned the shape of the necklaces into the darkness's hands, but it's not really hands because it's a cloud. I don't know. It burns the sun and moon signia inside the darkness. And as she's telling the story, the darkness somehow finds out that the girls are on Earth and gets inside Cameron's house and has an issue with the plants for some reason. But back in Coventry, Miranda, which is their mom's name, and Thantos talk about the girls returning to Coventry. Miranda knows they're alive, she can just feel it, but Thantos doesn't think they are. He thinks that they're still dead. He thinks they're dead along with their dad, Ileana, and Karsh, and we know that 4 of those people are still alive. Honestly, this whole scene is just more gaslighting from him and trying to make her believe her daughters are dead when they're obviously not. And she's finally done with his shit and tells him to
Find them.
Also, Thantos was the old king's brother. So Miranda, when her husband died, married her ex-husband's little brother. It's a little weird. I just want to point that out. It's just kind of weird. And back on Earth, Cameron finally gets to go to Alex's house, and she is not impressed.
This is your house? Uh-huh. This is your bathroom? You're right. That really is annoying.
And in Alex's house, they finally realize that their necklaces correspond with their personalities.
Written between 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. When the moon is up. I always draw first thing in the morning, when the sun rises. Whenever I wake up, I can picture it as if I've actually been there. This is crazy, right?
Oh my God, they're so genius. It's so crazy. I did not expect that. I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice, man. Oh my God, I didn't even notice. Oh my God, I'm tethered. Oh my God, I'm tethered to my computer. Also, the beginning of this movie was all about the girls being total opposites, you know, moon and sun, yin and yang, you know, kind of thing. But they also start having a lot in common.
Okay, we got 2 doubles, extra sauce, extra cheese, light mayo, no pickles.
Ugh, I hate pickles.
And after a little bonding time outside, eating out, you know, having a little sisterly love, they make it back to Alex's house just in time for the darkness to be there. And Ileana and Karsh have these like cool glasses where they can see the darkness, and they want to warn the girls that the darkness is here. But something gets in the way. That something is a brick wall. They try walking through a brick wall. It's a brick, just go around, just go through the front door. They know you exist now. You don't have to keep hiding from them. But of course, their idiocracy does not help, and the girls get chased throughout the house by the darkness with some very sickening, shaky shots. I know it's like the early 2000s and this was like the cool thing to do, but when you're watching it now, you're just like, oh, why did they do that? That's so crazy. But the girls escape by opening a door to Coventry again, and freaked out and annoyed, they talk to Ileana and Karsh again in Coventry. And we see that the girls' perception of everything have kind of flipped. See, before all the darkness stuff, Cameron was all good about being a princess in this mystical land. But after she just almost got murdered twice by this darkness, she is kind of over the whole thing and wants to just, you know, stay away from it for a little while, you know? But this, for some reason, made Alex more excited, and she wants to meet her mom Miranda, and she wants to help out Coventry now. But even though before she didn't want anything to do with it, perspectives have completely flipped, and instead of Alex storming out like she normally does, Cameron storms out this time. We then cut to later that night during Cameron's birthday party, and another bad dub.
David, you promised no breakdancing. I'm not, I slipped. I see you later.
And Karsh being a stick in the mud.
Why would you do that? You just double dipped.
Well, now you've ruined the whole bowl.
Please, just... disgusting.
We learned that Alex is not at the party. See, that fight kind of made Alex a little mad, and she decided to just not show up to this party. And Alex decides, even though Cameron doesn't want to try to help Coventry, she still does. So she decides she's gonna go there by herself and try to help as much as she can. And this is when she gets to meet her mom for the first time.
Artemis?
I kind of go by Alex now, but yeah.
Who reassures her that she never stopped looking and never stopped believing in her kids. I wish my parents believed in me. While Alex and Marissa are catching up, they talk about Cameron and Ileana and Karsh. They talk about the looming darkness that is going to take over their life and slowly kill them. You know, they talk about everything. Back on Earth, Cameron is feeling a little conflicted about the whole situation. She takes a small break from her party and decides to go sit alone and think about it. And her mom, concerned, comes to comfort her. This is where Cameron confesses everything to her mother. Everything about Coventry, about the darkness, the witches, everything. And it turns out Cameron used to have dreams about Coventry, and she'd wake up screaming, and she would even draw pictures of faces that she saw in the darkness. Hey, he looks familiar. I don't know about you, but if my kid woke up screaming in the middle of the night and then started to just draw faces in like pitch black, I would take him to a therapist. But then we go back to Coventry. A lot of cuts in this scene, I'm very sorry. Back to Coventry, Thantos lets Alex and Marissa know that the darkness is inside the castle, but luckily the girls are there to help. Well, one girl. And this is when we find out that Cameron is pretty much useless against darkness for some reason. She is the sun, so you'd think that she would be the one that would be more powerful, but no. Alex is the one that's more powerful to darkness, and Cameron is pretty much useless by herself. And as they're talking about this, the darkness is destroying Cameron's party. But these idiots, for some reason, think it's a light show. Yeah, I love the part where everything exploded. It was so cool. But even though Alex isn't at the party to help Cameron, Ileana and Karsh are, so they help her escape to Coventry. We learn that Thantos went back on Earth to try to save Cameron. Cameron didn't make it, very sadly. But we just watched her make it. So Thantos is telling a different story than what would happen. And this is when they reveal Cameron, like an ex-boyfriend on Mari.
But it's our only option.
No, you can't do that because she's already here. Nice try. I beat you here by a good 5 minutes.
The girls have figured out that Thanos isn't who he says he is, and he is the darkness that's trying to kill them. And they confirm this by tying him down to a chair and removing his gloves, showing the burns of the necklaces on his hand. But, you know, luckily they tied him up so he's very secure and safe, and he can't escape. Oh, he escaped. He then kills Miranda in front of the girls and shrouds the room in darkness. But the girls find each other, they hold hands, and they just start talking about things that they love.
The opposite of darkness isn't light.
It's love!
So they defeat darkness with the power of love. Didn't see that one coming. Don't think that's been done before. And I will say, I do like how the darkness looks in this movie. It's kind of like stylized a little bit. It's got like a dark outline, which I know is just bad CGI back then, but it kind of looks cool. But all the other CGI in this movie, it kind of sucks. I'm sorry. Like, just look at this castle. Just look at it for a second. Look at the landscape. It's not very good. But they defeat the darkness in a really cool anime style. They go home, eat cake, and that's the end of the movie. Ileana and Kars talk about staying on Earth or maybe moving to another dimension where rent is cheaper. Don't blame them. Wish I could do that. But yeah, that's the end of Twitches. Really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I watched it a few times when I was little, but I don't remember anything. Also, Twitches 2 came out like I think 2 years later. So I think Twitches and Twitches 2 kind of melded in my brain because I was a little kid pooping in diapers and crying. Good movie. I'll put it a fucking 6 or 7. All the bad dubs just ruined it for me. That's all I could think about the whole time I was watching it. Let me know what movies you want to see in the comments below. I know you guys want to see Luck of the Irish. I got it. Thank you. Appreciate you. It's coming. I promise it's coming. Just be patient. Well, yeah, thank you for watching the video. Appreciate you all, and peace.